Hi there, I'm Dario Ponisi, and here at my side is...
Romana Maiori. Hello, and welcome back to Joint Adventure.
We've arrived to our 7th adventure on our journey from zero to hero. Well done, everybody.
What's the drill today?
Today we'll learn about minor chords, a new group of musical friends that will help us to expand our expressive horizons.
Sounds good. What else?
What else? Well, a couple of other things that you'll surely enjoy. We're gonna jump right into them in a moment. Well, let's start with the notes on the 4th fret. 1, 2, 3, and 4. On the 6th string, we'll find the note, this note, which is a G sharp, or if you want, A flat, going back half a tone. On the 5th string, okay, this note, we find a C sharp or D flat. We go on the 4th string, where we find F sharp or G flat. Moving on the 3rd string, this note is a B, and that's it. There is no flat and there is no sharp, of course. We move to the 2nd string, where we'll find a D sharp or E flat. And finally, on the 1st string, we find again a G sharp or A flat, because, as usual, the 1st string and the 6th string share the same note, which is the note of E. Okay, so these are the notes belonging to the 4th fret. Okay, listen a moment. Try to do a demi-bar covering more or less 4 strings, or rather, yes, try to cover 4 strings. And then with the pick, we will try to do this sequence of notes starting from 4th string and going down 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Okay, like this. Okay, you tried? Was it okay? Was it good? All right, this little thing that I did with the pick, it's called Arpeggio. Arpeggio is an Italian word, and maybe you hear it in the sound already. Arpeggio comes from arpa. Arpa is the harp. Very nice instruments, by the way. So this instrument basically is played with hands across the strings, very often playing one string at a time. Every string has a different note. What we do on the guitar, basically we imitate, we try to do the same kind of effect, playing the strings of the guitar in a way that could resemble those of the harp. I can also do this thing called arpeggio with my fingers. In fact, I'm gonna show you. My fingernails on the right hand are quite long. Some people keep it really long, especially classical guitarists. I like to have a medium length because basically that suits me much better. So I can do the same thing with my fingers. For instance, using the same sounds we used before, doing a demi-bar, okay, across the 4th fret, using the thumb to play the 4th string and my other fingers to play, each of them plays a string. All right? So let's try and see what happens. This is the effect. All right, this is an arpeggio. It's called also down-only arpeggio because basically I only go down. If I use a pick, I go from top to down in one movement, and I repeat it. Arpeggio is used constantly in any kind of music. You can find arpeggios in classical music, in pop music, in jazz, of course. Sometimes arpeggios are used to play solos. You have an accompaniment, chords that go in a certain direction, and some of the soloists actually used to improvise with a technique that resembles that of the arpeggio. So it's something that we will use, and it will be very handy to know. And there are several different arpeggios. For instance, now I show you the down only arpeggio, but there are other arpeggios, for instance. What I'm doing basically is going from the fourth string to the first string and then coming back one string at a time. I'll do it slowly. I'm using the chord of D, by the way. This is the chord of D, eh? Okay. All right, it's actually a very nice sound. You can change the tempo, the speed of the arpeggio. You can do it very, very slow. It's kind of a majestic sound in a way. You can play, you can even sing something. Listen to this. Ave Maria. I use only one chord. There are, of course, different chords for this very famous song, but you can hear the sound is very majestic, very very wide in a way. Or you can do things that are faster. Something like this. When maybe in time you'll get much better than me, I hope, and then you'll be able to do wonderful arpeggios, even inventing them, even creating them on your own. Okay, so we're gonna try to use the chords of D and C to make an arpeggio, a little song with D and C. What I want you to do is take the chord of D. I just remind you where the chord of D is done. You go on second fret, third string, and first string. You place your forefinger on third string and your middle finger on first string, and then the ring finger goes on third fret, second string. Okay. So you take from the chord, from the string of D, which is the fourth string, and then little by little go down. 4 times. All right, very simple in a way. But then you had to change to the chord of C, and the chord of C, I remind you, is built in this way: second string, first fret, then you go second fret, fourth string, and third fret, fifth string. This is the chord of C. Remain on the same first 4 strings. So you play from the fourth string down to the third, second, then first, then return to the fourth string, third, second, and first. In other words, and 4, then go back to the D. So this is the idea. Basically, in the beginning, sometimes you might have a little accident. Maybe your pick will play twice the same string. It happened to me too, as you can see. It's not a problem. The most important thing is that you keep on practicing, because practicing things, of course, will make you free. I was about to say no. Practicing will make you better at what you do. And even this very simple device, the arpeggio, will of course improve and widen your horizons. So at this point, I'll tell you right away, in the second part of the lesson, we'll use exactly this down-only arpeggio, but with different chords, and the chords you will learn them in the second part of the lesson. So stay tuned and move to the second part.